my name's April. If you're new here, welcome to my channel, Crafting in the Night. And if you're a subscriber, welcome back. In today's video, I'm going to show you how to crochet this beautiful textured ripple blanket I call the double triple crochet ripple. And in a few minutes when we get to the pattern, you'll understand how I came up with that fun name. This blanket wound up measuring around 36 by 36 inches. And that's measuring from the tip of one peak to the valley at the opposite end. Now this blanket uses 3 different colors. I love this yarn in sun gold. I have this much left from one skein. I love this yarn in deep sea diving. That's the variegated color. And this is how much I have left from 2 skeins. And then I love this yarn, the struggle is teal, which is this beautiful kind of teal color. And I have this much left from 2 skeins as well. So the limiting color in this one really was this variegated yarn. There wasn't as much in the skein as I thought there would be, but that's okay because I kind of messed up my gauge when I got started. This was supposed to be an adult size throw blanket, and it wound up being a child size or baby size blanket. Really is important to test your gauge for this project so you know the proper number of repeats, but since I didn't have a pattern when I was creating this, that didn't work out so well. In addition to the yarn, you're going to need a crochet hook. For this number 4 worsted weight yarn, I used this size 6 tulip hook. You'll also need a pair of scissors and a needle to weave in your ends. If you love to see crochet content like this in your YouTube feed, please be sure to hit the subscribe button, click the bell to get notifications, leave me a like, and drop a comment below. All of these things really do help the YouTube algorithm as well as help you see more creative crochet content like this in your YouTube feed. For this tutorial, I'm going to create a swatch. To do that, we're going to start with a slip knot and then a chain of 49. The multiple for this project is 23 plus 3, and so we're going to chain 46 plus 3, which is 49. So I've got a chain of 46, that's the repeat of 23, and 2 repeats is 46, so now I'm going to chain up 3 more. Now I want to double crochet in the 4th chain from the hook, so I'll count back. The loop does not count as 1. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yarn over. I'm going to insert under both of the loops here. Yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. So now this chain 3 is going to count as 1 double crochet, and then we've made 1 double crochet, so this counts as 2. For the first leg, we want 11, so that's 2, and so I'll put 1 double crochet in each of the next 9 stitches. So far I have 9 double crochets, I need 2 more, 10, and 11. If I can find it, there we go. Okay, so we just want to double check. Again, this starting chain 3 counts as 1, and we want 11 for this first leg. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Now we're going to skip 3. So 1, 2, 3, and this is going to form our valley, and we're going to put a double crochet in the next. So skip 3 and double crochet in the next. And that forms the valley for our V-stitch. So it's looking kind of like this now, where we have 1 leg, we formed a valley, and we're going to start going back up now. So for each of the sides in between, we're going to want 10 double crochets. We've put 1, so let's go ahead and put 9 more double crochets for this middle peak. So 1, 2, 2, 3, 9, and 10. So we have our 11 starting chains, and we have 10 going up the side. The next step, we want to chain 3 to form our peak. So I'm going to chain 1, 2, 3. Then I'm going to go ahead and put a double crochet in that very next stitch. We don't want to skip any stitches here, so we chain 3 and put a double crochet in the very next stitch. And then we're going to go ahead and put 9 more double crochets down the chain for a total of 10 on this side, just as before. Okay, so now I have my 11, and then just for the starting leg, and then 10 up, chain 3, and 10 down. And now just like over here, I want to skip 3 to form another valley. So I'm going to skip 1, 2, 3, and double crochet into the 4th chain on the hook. That's a little bit too loose, so I'm going to skip 1, 2, 3, and double crochet in the 4th chain from the hook. And here we're going to go ahead and double crochet to the end, but that's going to be 10. So we're going to put an extra one in the very last stitch to make 11. So let's go ahead and do that. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and then we have 9 stitches, so we want to put 2 more in this end stitch to make 11 for the ending leg. So 10 and 11. So this is what our gauge swatch looks like. This is 2 repeats, a starting leg with 11, skip 3 for the valley, and then for your blanket, for all of the middle repeats, they're going to be the same. That's 10 up, chain 3, 10 down, skip 3. And then just like the beginning for the final leg on this first row, you're going to go ahead and create 11 double crochets by adding an extra double crochet in the end chain. Now we're ready to start the second row. So for row 2, we're going to go ahead and chain up 3. So chain 1, 2, 3. And now normally you wouldn't crochet into this stitch if you were just doing let's say rows back and forth of double crochet, but for this pattern we're going to want to go ahead and turn our work, and then into this first stitch here, which is the 4th stitch from the hook. So we have 1, 2, 3 chains, and this is the 4th stitch from the hook right on top of that last double crochet. We're going to want to go ahead and put 2 double crochets. So yarn over, insert, pull up, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. And we'll do one more of those. Yarn over, insert your hook, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, oops, yarn over, pull through 2. So this first chain 3, like it does everywhere else in the pattern, is going to count as a double crochet. So right now we have 1 double crochet, 2, and then 3. So in the next 2 stitches, we're going to put a front post treble crochet. So to do that, you're going to yarn over twice, insert your hook from the front to the back, so right to left if you're right-handed, left to right if you're left-handed. Yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, and yarn over, pull through 2. So it's called a treble crochet because you're yarning over and pulling through 2 3 times. We're going to do that one more time. Yarn over twice, insert underneath the post, yarn over and pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, and yarn over, pull through 2. Now we're going to crochet in the top of the next 2 stitches just a regular double crochet and a second double crochet, and then we're going to put a pair of front post trebles again. So yarn over twice, and we'll work our front post treble crochets. Okay, we're going to put 1 double crochet, and then the next stitch can be kind of tricky if you're new, but what we're going to do is work a double crochet 2 together and skip 4 in between. So let me show you how we do that. We're going to start working the double crochet as we normally would. So yarn over, insert, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2. We're going to stop right there with 2 loops on our hook and skip 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and we're going to work a double crochet into this stitch. So yarn over, insert, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, and yarn over and pull through all of the remaining stitches. So that's a double crochet 2 together with 4 stitches in between. We're going to go ahead and do another double crochet, so 1 double crochet. Now 2 front post trebles in the next stitch, in the next 2 stitches, so 1, and then another front post treble around the next stitch, and then 2 doubles, and 2 front post trebles. Now if you've got your counts correct, you should wind up to where the chain 3 space is next, right here. So we're going to go ahead and put 2 double crochets into that space. Oops, just a double. So 1, 2, and then chain 3, and put 2 more doubles in that same space. 1, 2. This is forming our peak. So right now we have 3 double crochets. That's our chain 3 and 2 double crochets. And then you can see where I got the name for this pattern, the double triple ripple. So we've got doubles, then 2 triples, then 2 doubles, 2 triples, front post triples, but still 2 triples and 2 doubles. Then this double here for the valley is actually double crochet 2 together, and then we have the 2 double crochets, 2 front post triple crochets, 2 double crochets, and 2 front post triples. And then for the peak, we're always going to work 2 double crochets, chain 3, 2 double crochets. So going down the next side is going to be similar to going up. We're going to go ahead and work those front post triple crochets here. So 1, 2, and then 2 double crochets, 2 front post triples, we're getting close here to our valley, so we're going to go ahead and work 1 double crochet. And then we're going to do double crochet 2 together again, but for the last leg, it's a little bit different. So for on row 2, for the first leg, it's skip 4. And then for all subsequent valleys that you have, depending on your repeat, it's also skip 4. But this does change on the very last leg to be a skip 3. So we're going to skip 1, 2, 3. So, sorry, we're going to double crochet into the next just to start it, and then skip 1, 2, 3, and double crochet into this stitch. Again, this is only for the last leg. So that's our double crochet 2 together, and then double crochet in the next, front post double crochet in the next 2. So front post treble crochet, 2, double crochet in the next 2. Move this guy over here. Front post treble crochet in the next 2. So I know I've messed up the way that I've said that possibly more than once, but it's always double crochets and front post trebles. There are no front post doubles. The front post treble gives us the height that we need so that the rows come out even. So because we're wrapping around the post, doing the front post treble brings up the stitch to the same height as the double crochets. And then the last 2 stitches that we have, you'll see that we have 1 more double crochet, and then we have this chain 3. So we're going to go ahead and work a double crochet into the top of the next stitch, and then we're going to work 2 double crochets into this last stitch. Now there's 2 ways you can do it. The pattern calls to go ahead and work the 2 double crochets in the top of the chain 3. If you have trouble getting into that hole, or it's just difficult for you to see, you can go ahead and crochet the 2 double crochets into this space, but just make sure that you're consistent throughout the blanket of doing that. This yarn's pretty nice and easy to get into, so I'm going to go ahead, oops, I just need a double crochet. I'm going to go ahead and go into the top of that chain 3 space, put 1 double and then 2 doubles. So at the end of row 2, this is what we're looking like. So we have 11 stitches here, the chain 3 and 2 doubles, so that counts as 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. We skipped 4, then we put 10 stitches going up, and we alternated 2 doubles and 2 front post triple crochets, remembering that the 2 stitches joining the valley are a double crochet 2 together. At the top of the peak, we did 2 double crochets, chain 3, 2 double crochets, and then we continued on with our pattern of alternating 2 front post treble crochets and 2 double crochets all the way down. So this is our repeat for all of the blanket until we get to the last leg. For the last leg, you're going to do your double crochet, and then on your double crochet 2 together, you're going to skip 3 for row 2. So skip 3 for row 2 on the last leg, and then work the pattern as normal, placing 1 extra double crochet at the top of that leg so that we have 11 on that side. All right, row 3 is coming up next, and we're going to change just a little bit, and then row 4 is our repeat row. Okay, for row 3, we're going to go ahead and chain up 3, 1, 2, 3. And just like the previous row, we're going to go ahead and put 2 double crochets into this stitch. So counting back, it's going to be the 4th stitch from the hook. So 1, 2, 3, or chain 3, and then the 4th stitch from the hook. And we're going to place 2 double crochets in there. So 1, 2. Then we're going to go ahead and now we have 2 double crochets underneath. So around those double crochets, we're going to put front post trebles. So yarn over twice and work my front post treble, yarn over twice and work my front post treble. The next 2 you can see on the back are front post trebles. So in the top of those, we're going to go ahead and work a double crochet. So 1 double crochet into the next and 1 double crochet into the next. And we're going to continue along that pattern, working front post trebles around the double crochets and working double crochets into the front post trebles. So here's 2 double crochets. I'll put a front post treble around each of these. And then these front post trebles, I'm going to put a double crochet into the top. Now I do realize that I sometimes say front post treble instead of front post triple, and I do know that there's a difference between UK and US terminology. Everything I'm saying here, whether it's treble or triple, is all US triples. So the last 2, okay, here I actually messed up. This double crochet is supposed to be our double crochet 2 together. So I'm just going to back that out. So we have 3 double crochets to start, 2 front post triples, 2 double crochets, 2 front post triples, and as we approach this valley, you're going to put 1 full double crochet, and then your last double crochet for this side is going to be a double crochet 2 together. So I'm going to start this. So for row 3, the skip is going to be 3, and you can see which one you're supposed to go into because you can look here and see that you're going to go into this first front post triple crochet, or what was on the other side. So these are both doubles, so you want to work a double into the top of this front post triple that's from the other side. So it's skip 3 for row 3, so skip 1, 2, 3 and finish working your double crochet 2 together in the top of that stitch, work a double crochet in the top of the next stitch, and then we're going to continue on the pattern as we did previously. So working 2 front post trebles and working 1 front post triple in each of these 2 double crochets, then 2 double crochets, and just as before, we're going to end for the peak with 2 front post triple crochets. So let's get that done really quick. So once again for our peak, we're going to work 2 double crochets, chain 3, 2 double crochets. And just as with row 2, we're going to work the same repeating pattern, 2 front post triples, 2 doubles, 2 front post triples, and then we're going to do our valley on this side. So let me work that up really quickly. Okay, now for this final leg, every time we do the final valley, it's going to be 1 less than whatever we had been doing across the valleys. So across the other valleys. So for row 3, we've been skipping 3. All the way along your work, you're going to skip 3 until you reach this very last leg. So I'm going to put my 1 double crochet, full double crochet, and I'm going to start the first part of my double crochet 2 together. And instead of skipping 3, I'm going to skip 2. So I'm going to skip 1, 2, and into this stitch, I'm going to place a double crochet. Now, this may not seem intuitive because this is a double crochet, and for the rest of the pattern, we would typically be doing a front post triple crochet on this stitch. However, because this is joining the two sides and forming our valley, we're going to do a double crochet. So skip 2, 1, 2, and then finish our double crochet 2 together. And now for the remainder of the leg, we need to just follow what our stitch pattern has been. So these are 2 front post triple crochets. So in the top of those, I'm going to put double crochets. And now we have 2 doubles, so I'll put front post triples on those. Two front post triples, so those will get doubles. And then now we have 3 double crochets, but we'll do 2 front post triples around those first 2. And then we're going to end, as always, with 2 double crochets in the top of the chain 3. And again, if you have been working in the space between the last stitch and the chain 3, you can do that as well. Just be consistent. So I'm going to go into the top of this chain 3 and put 2 double crochets. So here's how we're looking after row 3. So row 4 is our repeat row. I'll be right back with that. I just wanted to take a quick moment to remind you to go ahead and hit that like button if you're enjoying this content. And if you haven't already, be sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you can see more great content like this when I post it. Let's go ahead and chain up 3, turn our work, and then the top of the last stitch, so 1, 2, 3 in the 4th stitch from the hook. Just as with the other rows, we're going to place 2 double crochets. And this repeat will be the same for the first leg for the rest of the pattern, but I want to explain to you why we do what we do. So in order to maintain this texture on the leg, we can't really follow the pattern that we do in the middle, or else the sides get to look kind of flat. So we always just want to remember, where there's a double crochet, we put a front post triple. Where there were 2 front post triples in, or any number of front post triples in the previous row, we're going to put double crochets on the top of those. So the next stitch is a double crochet. There's only 1, but I'm going to go ahead and work a front post triple around that one. These next 2 in the previous row were front post triples, so I'll work double crochets into the top of those. So 1, 2, and then we have 2 doubles, so those will each get a front post triple. And this repeat will be the same for each of the same rows on this first leg. These are front post triples, so I'm going to go ahead and put doubles into those. And you want to count your stitches so you know which stitch is going to be your last one. So we have this chain 3, which is stitch 1, 2 doubles, so 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So this next stitch I know is going to be my double crochet 2 together. And when you do the 2 together, it's always double crochet 2 together. So remember, because the first leg always has 11 stitches, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This one was kind of hiding. 7, 8, 9, 10. So our 11th stitch is going to be the first part of that double crochet 2 together. And even though this is a double crochet, because it's our double crochet 2 together, it's still going to be a double crochet on the top instead of a front post triple. So I'll start the double crochet 2 together, skip 3, 1, 2, 3, and then work the rest of the double crochet 2 together into this stitch. And now the rest of the pattern for the repeats is going to be the same until we get to the last leg, and we'll deal with that a little bit separately. You're just going to work to where there's 2 double crochets. You have your double crochet 2 together, 1 more double crochet, 2 front posts, trebles, two doubles. I want to make sure I'm in the, sometimes this one, depending on how you hold it, this double crochet was hidden back. And so you always want to make sure in the middle that you have 10 up and 10 down. So it's easy to see that these are the 2 when I kind of separate it out. And as your blanket gets bigger, these become easier to see as well. It's kind of small, so it's folding up on itself. And then, just as with previous rows, our 2 stitches before the chain 3 space are front post trebles. And then 2 double crochets, chain 2, 2 double crochets, and then repeat down the side 2 front post triples, 2 doubles, two front post triples, oops, do that again, one double, and then this next stitch, this next double is going to be the first part of my double crochet 2 together. For this final valley, we're going to go ahead and start our double crochet 2 together. So we'll start that, and then because this is the last valley, we're only going to skip 2 and then double crochet, finish this double crochet 2 together into this stitch. And then once again, we're going to look at our stitches to see where we should be placing double crochets versus front post triple crochets. So these are front post triple crochets from the row before. So we're going to go ahead and put a double crochet in each of the next 2. And then these are double crochets, so we'll put a front post treble crochet or triple crochet around the next 2. Two front post triples here, so we'll put a double crochet into the top of those. And now we have 3 double crochets, but there's this chain 3 that counts as a double crochet, and 2 actual double crochets. So we'll do front post triples around these 2. And then we'll work 2 double crochets into the top of that chain 3. And that concludes row 4, and row 4 is the repeat row. So now to continue on with the blanket, we're just going to chain 3, turn our work, and continue across the same way. And we're skipping 3 when we're working across the blanket. We'll skip 3 for every single valley. When we come to the very last valley, we'll skip 2. So I've backed out the last 2 double crochets in that chain 3 space so that I can show you how to switch color. So I'm going to go ahead and put one of my 2 double crochets in this space, and then I'm going to start the second one and stop after the first pull through 2. I'm going to let that yarn fall, loop over my new color, and then pull through both loops. Then I can pull on the tail of the gold here and on either side of the blue to kind of help collapse things. If you go ahead and chain 3 with the blue or your second color, then you can kind of pull these tight, cut off your first color with a long enough tail so that you can weave in the ends, turn your work, and then you'll just continue along the pattern as normal with your new color. So if this gets loose, just go ahead and pull on it, and then when you weave in ends, that'll tighten up. What I like to do when I weave in my ends is I do tie these 2 together. And that helps secure them. So I tie them before I weave them in. And of course this one would be cut. And then I weave in the ends after that. One of the mistakes I commonly made was accidentally putting 3 double crochets into the peak. Now typically when I made this mistake, I only did it on one side or the other, not usually both. And this is just because I'm working a granny square blanket at the same time I was working this project, so sometimes my brain wasn't thinking. If that happened when I got to it, if it was on the right side of the peak, what I would do is skip over the first double crochet and then do my front post trebles around the 2 closest to the center of the peak. And then my 2 double crochet into the center, which I would then get right because I was aware of it. Chain 3, 2 double crochets on the side, other side of the peak. And now if I made the mistake on this side, what I would do is go ahead and do my front post double crochet again on the ones closest to the center of the peak. Front post triple crochet. I keep messing that up. Skip this extra double crochet that we didn't need and then double crochet right into the tops of these stitches like we normally would. So that's how I would compensate, and without having to frog it back, that's how I would fix if I had an extra double crochet on either side of a peak like that. One important thing that I want to note is that it's really important to make this gauge swatch. Here we have 3 different number 4 worsted weight yarns, and you can see each one is sampling up at a slightly different size. In addition, this is a number 3 weight yarn, Lion Brand Mandala. So let's take a look. Our first swatch is Red Heart Super Saver in the camouflage color, and that's 10.5 inches for our gauge swatch. The next one is I Love This Yarn in Sun Gold. This is left over from my original project, and we're right at 10 inches for our 2 repeats. Then this is Karen Cake at 9.5 inches, and again Karen is a number 4 worsted weight yarn, and this is Lion Brand Mandala at 8 inches. Now both the I Love This Yarn and the Karen Cake were crocheted using the exact same 6mm tulip hook. The Red Heart Super Saver was crocheted using a 6.5mm size K hook, and this swatch for the Lion Brand Mandala yarn was crocheted using a 5mm hook, which was what was recommended by the yarn label. The other thing to note is that these worsted weight yarns really display the texture nicely, And you can really see that in the gold here. And on the camo, you can't see it as much, but I'm actually doing this blanket next for this stitch because the little boy that this is being made for likes camouflage, and I thought the texture would add just kind of a nice variety to it and kind of look like that camouflage netting that you see. And then for the baby yarn, I didn't go up a hook size like I normally do and like the pattern calls for, just because it was already kind of open as it was. So I actually might try a 4.5 hook if I were to do this baby yarn and work it up, but for now the camo is my next project. But this just shows how important it is to check your gauge. Once you have your measurement of your 2 repeats, then you can see, okay, if your repeat measured 10, then 1 repeat is 5 inches, and then you can use that to calculate out how many repeats you're going to need to create the width of your blanket. And then once you have the width, you'll just keep working rows until you have the length that you desire. Thanks so much for following along as we created this beautiful double triple ripple crochet blanket. You can get the free pattern on my website at craftinginthenight.com. I'll leave a link in the description below. Until next time, keep calm and crochet on.